Hey guys, welcome to semester 2 and unit 6, our unit on human development. This first video is going to be on infant physical development. All right. So prenatal development, there's a couple of vocab words that you need to remember when it comes to prenatal development. The first is conception. And this is when the sperm penetrates the ovum. These are all vocab words, by the way, so you're going to do these on your vocab quiz, but just to kind of go over it again. Zygote is the fertilized egg. And then we have an embryonic period, which is week 2 to 8 of pregnancy, so after conception. So weeks 2 to 8 after conception. And then our fetal period is week 9 and beyond, so 2 months after conception until the birth of the baby. So these three different time periods are really important for you to remember. Okay, so first we are a zygote, then we enter the embryonic period where the fertilized egg is called an embryo. And then our fetal period, which the baby is now called a fetus at that point. So conception, it only takes one. There is a very much enlarged picture of a sperm fertilizing an ovum. So it only takes one, even though look at in this picture how many are trying to get in to that ovum. So there is a images for birth control for you. All right, we're going to watch this in class tomorrow. It's very cool, actually. Really cool. All right, so prenatal development. So in images, okay, some prenatal development in images. So here is the fetus at 40 days old. Okay, you can kind of tell there's a head developing here. Okay, it's fairly hard to see. 45 days old. Okay, we're seeing a little bit more development. It sort of still looks like an alien, but we're seeing a little bit more development. Here's our 2 months old. Okay, here's our head up here at the top. This little brown thing right here, that's an eye starting to form. We see arms starting to form here, and we have legs starting to form. Okay, so that's at 2 months old. This little brown spot that's over here, that's the beginning of, well, your brain is forming in here, but that's the beginning of some sort of hot spots in your brain. And then here at 4 months old, definitely starting to look like a baby, traditionally what we see as a baby. So here again is our head, we have an eyeball here, we have mouth, we have arms with hands and all 5 fingers. You can see the rib cage here, and we've got legs and little feet that you can see here. Okay, so at 4 months old, starting to look like what we traditionally picture when we picture a baby. Some things that can influence how you develop when you are in utero, and they're called teratogens. So teratogens are agents, things that mom ingests or that are happening in mom's body that can reach the embryo and can reach the fetus, and it can result in birth defects. So there's a bunch of different teratogens that we're going to talk about. So teratogens happen obviously during prenatal development and cause harm to the baby. So the first set of teratogens that we talk about are diseases. So these are diseases that mom has or can catch while she is pregnant. So one disease is rubella. This can cause blindness, deafness, and heart defects in the baby. Syphilis, if mom has syphilis, this can result in mental defects and deafness. That's just a couple. That's not, this list is not all inclusive. It's just giving you a couple to give you some ideas. Drugs, obviously, you never want to ingest any drug when you are pregnant because these do affect your fetus. So, for example, cocaine results in low birth weight, respiratory problems, learning problems, and irritability with a baby. They basically go through withdrawal once they're born, and they're not receiving that drug through mom's, cord anymore. They go through withdrawal. So that's why they cry a lot. They're really irritable. It's just like if an adult went through a withdrawal of a drug. Marijuana, again, irritability, and that's because of withdrawal. Alcohol can lead to fetal alcohol syndrome and learning problems. Fetal alcohol syndrome is just a host of issues, low birth weight, low growth, smaller brain size, which can lead to learning disabilities and those kind of things. Nicotine, so even smoking, can lead to miscarriage, low birth weight, learning disabilities. And then the last group are what we call other substances, so just other things. Mercury, which is found in fish, okay, especially raw fish. So you think sushi and those kind of things. So mercury can lead to mental defects, blindness. Caffeine. We could put caffeine under the drugs category too, because remember we learned about them in the psychoactive drugs unit. But caffeine can lead to miscarriage and low birth weight as well. So lots of rules that you have to go through when you are pregnant. Lots of things that you can and can't eat and drink. So when are teratogens most negative? So it varies, and I'm going to give you kind of a bunch of different ranges. So on the developing fetus's arms and legs, 3.5 to 8 weeks, okay, 3.5 to 8 weeks in utero is where teratogens can already start to be messing with the development of your arms and your legs. Your heart, 2.5 to 6.5 weeks. Okay, very, very early. Keep in mind that a lot of women don't even know that they're pregnant at this point in time. So it can have negative effects very, very early in pregnancy. Your central nervous system, 2 to 5 weeks. Your eyes, 3.5 to 8.5 weeks. And then your teeth or your mouth is 7 to 12 weeks. Okay, so these really important things like your heart and your central nervous system are already beginning to develop before most women even realize that they're pregnant. So that is something to really kind of keep in mind and really think about. All right, so infant reflexes. These are automatic reflexes that are tested on babies as soon as they're born, and then usually at like a few weeks and a month and then a couple months, just to make sure that their reflexes are developing like they're supposed to. So the first reflex is the rooting reflex. So this is turning their head and seeking out food. So they're opening their mouth. So if you touch them on their cheek, they're going to turn toward that and try and like open their mouth to get whatever is touching them. Right? And this is a natural reflex to help them find food. The sucking reflex, okay, we all know that babies suck on either a nipple or a bottle, and that helps to allow them to eat. Babinski is the fanning and the curling of toes when you stroke the bottom of the foot. I am going to show you videos of all of these tomorrow in class. So if you're not sure exactly what I'm talking about or you haven't seen it in a baby, don't have a lot of experience with babies, I'm going to show you a couple videos with these. The Moro reflex. And this is like a startle reflex. So babies will like throw their arms out at the sides and arch their back and then bring their arms back in like they were in mom's womb in response to like a loud noise or like a drop. So any like sudden change in the position of their head, they'll throw those arms out and then like bring them back in to kind of hold themselves and cuddle themselves. And then the last one that you have to know is the grasping reflex. So if you've ever had any experience with babies, you know if you put anything like your finger, your hair, anything in to like the baby's palm, they'll automatically hold on to it. And they can hold pretty tight. So that is that grasping reflex. And again, I'll show you videos of these in class tomorrow to kind of give you an idea, visual idea on what these look like. All right, and then we want to talk about, all right, why isn't this moving forward? Okay, those are the videos that I'm going to show you. The last thing that we want to talk about is the major motor milestones in babies. And again, doctors and parents are on the lookout to make sure that these motor milestones are happening within a certain time period. If they're not happening within a certain time period, that could mean that there's something going on with their central nervous system. So obviously, the sooner we know about this, the better. And we know babies can't really talk. They can't really tell us if anything feels weird or everything's bothering them or anything's hurting or, they can't do something that they're supposed to do. So we look to these major motor milestones to make sure that the baby is physically developing at an appropriate rate. So the first motor milestone is this one, A, is raising their head. So on their belly, are they able to raise their head and neck? So we know newborns, when newborns are born, they don't really have control over their neck muscles. Their head is so big, the neck is not strong yet. So it does take a little bit of time for them to be able to hold up their neck. So this raising the head and the chest is about 2 to 4 months. The second one is rolling over, okay, rolling over. So again, we're going to see that right around 2 to 5 months. And by the way, these motor milestones happen in the order that I am giving them to you, okay? So they should first be raising their head and chest, and then they roll over, okay? C is sitting with support. So you see there, this baby is kind of like falling over, not exactly like really holding himself up because he's supported back by this chair. So the sitting with support is about 4 to 6 months. And then when we get to about 6 to 7 months, now we can sit up on our own. Our neck and our back is strong enough to be able to hold us. And then this one here, letter E, is crawling. So crawling anywhere from 7 to 8 months. And then the final one is walking. And walking has the longest range. It's 8 to 18 months. So that's a pretty big span of time where we see kids starting to walk. Some walk very, very early. Others take a little bit more time to walk. All 3 of my kids started walking around the 8 to 9 months old, and I really firmly believe it's because they were so small that it was just a lot easier for them to gain their balance because there wasn't a lot of leg, there wasn't a lot of the rest of the body. So I feel like that's the one benefit of being short. So like I said, all of these happen in order, and we want to make sure that it's happening within this time period. Otherwise, doctors may refer babies and parents to specialists to see if there's something going on with their development there. All right, so that is it for the infant physical development. Bring your questions to class tomorrow, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.